I'm Jon Sicotte, Executive Editor of the Brewer Magazine. Welcome to another edition of the Brewer Magazine podcast. And so I've been a home brewer since like late 2010, 2011. And the first thing after, making the first few beers anyway, was find a homebrew club. And all of a sudden they're telling me that there's these things called contests that you can have people judge your beer based on criteria. And I was enthralled with it and wanted to win our Home Brewers Cup. And so since that point, now that I've gotten into the industry and been covering the beer industry since 2013 and hearing about all the different beer contests that are going on, I'm always interested in looking at the winners, talking to the winners, finding out their thought processes of either entering beer contests, why the beers win, how they put things together, all that timing and stuff. And then about 4 years ago, the Craft Beer Marketing Awards began. And so there's all these other ways to be able to enter contests. And I find that intriguing as well. Well, we found a double winner and bringing in Tom and Ryan from No Label in Katy, Texas, a double winner this year. And it was cool because you guys had posted that you guys had won both a World Beer Cup Gold and a Crushie Platinum. And we'll talk about both of those. Congratulations, first and foremost, guys, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, man.
Yeah. So the beer I'll mention first is that it was a wood-aged gold in the World Beer Cup for your Scotch ale, and then which I think I really love that this thing has started the Craft Beer Marketing Awards, and you guys have one of the best tap rooms and beer gardens around. So. Well, just kind of a first overall thought process of, winning something like this and the recognition that, it is for you guys.
It's good to win.
Yeah.
It feels good to be acknowledged by the community, but I think, we've won a few Craft Beer Marketing Awards. Those feel great, but I think the World Beer Cup, we won a silver a couple years back, but for IPA, but for Traylor, you can talk about the goal.
Yeah, it's always exciting winning a World Beer Cup. It's something you don't expect. We just go in there, like in every competition, we give it our best, and it just it's great to bring a World Beer Cup back to Katy, Texas, and get some recognition out here, and put us on the map. And then winning in a barrel aged beer, category, it's always a crapshoot. Each year the beer's different. We don't always age them in the same barrels every year. It's always it's been the same beer that we put into the barrels for the last 3 years, but different barrels every year. So this past year we actually went with a local distillery, Shire Distilling. I just had the idea to kind of try to keep it real local, and they're about 15 minutes down the street from us. We're buddies with them, and it's just about the time we needed barrels, they were emptying, and I went with it just to kind of keep it really local. And it just turned out as a really good blend between their whiskey and our wee heavy.
Yeah, Perpetual Peace is the name. We haven't even mentioned the
Perpetual Peace. Yeah, that's our
as well. But so how long have you been making Perpetual Peace?
Oh, I've been with the brewery coming up on 4 years. They've been making it here for a while.
Over a decade.
Yeah. So the recipe's definitely changed over time since I've been here. But yeah, it's been a staple for the brewery for like Tom said, over a decade. People look forward to it every year. We release it once a year for our anniversary party. That's every November.
They look forward to it more now,
for sure.
after that win, but it's awesome. The beer's only getting better. Traylor is one of the best brewers around. Everything I've had from him is fantastic, and Perpetual Peace it's the best, and it's only getting better.
Very nice. And what is the reasoning, like why a Scotch ale that you guys wanted to do? Like, what's the background on even making a beer like this and putting the time and effort into making it a barrel-aged beer as well?
The initial, I'm assuming the owners I'm assuming came up with the concept years ago to do the wee heavy, and they just kind of kept the tradition from that point, is keeping it a wee heavy. And then as far as barrel aging it too, that's the beer they decided to barrel age. We don't do many barrel aged beers around here, so that's one we just did keep from a prior like beer, like original No Label beer. I'm not exactly sure why they chose a wee heavy, but I don't mind it. I've brewed some wee heavies in my day in the past. I'd never messed around with barrel aging them before until I got here, so that's been pretty fun.
Open air barrel aging.
Yeah, I mean we don't have a climate controlled brewery or anything, so it's just they're sitting right now. This year's batch is sitting in our brewery, but in the past, before we remodeled the tap room, we would sit them in the tap room. So yeah, just sitting at in the midst of summer, barrel aging. There's no people were asking like, what's the secret to it? How'd you do it? And I'm like, it's barrel aging, man. So, some years come out better than others. Some barrels I have to dump. We run them through like microbe tests and all kinds of all the bacteria testing, everything we need to do. We also taste test them. Sometimes we dump some. Sometimes we get lucky and don't have to. So there's not really any secret to it. It's just, I'd say the one secret is you put a crappy beer into a barrel, it's not going to turn out good. You got to put a good beer into a barrel. So that's the only advice I can give, I guess. Other than that, have fun with it,
Yeah.
Just brew a good beer that you want, and wee heavy. We find that it ages really well in bourbon and rye whiskey barrels.
How much different of like compared to the rest of your portfolio though is, like you said, you guys don't do a lot of barrel aging. It is Southeast Texas. I don't think people think right away, you know what, I need a nice wee heavy to quench my thirst right now. How why are people so attracted to this beer?
I think just the barrel aged fan group of people who like to buy them, collect them, maybe crack them when it's not 110 degrees. I mean, we do release it in November, so it's a good time of year that we release it.
It's typically like our anniversary beer.
Yeah, so it's nice and cold, but after a World Beer Cup, it's hot, so we win a World Beer Cup and people want to come drink it. It's like 12.3% barrel aged beer. Like, I'm not even really drinking it much right now. Maybe an occasional sip just to share with people. But yeah, I think it's more sought after as like a people who are still into collecting and aging barrel aged beers, and we, even though it's hot out here, we still get a lot of people that do like to drink stouts and barrel aged beers during the summer. But from as far as our portfolio goes, yeah, it's like we're mostly I'd say like on the hoppier end of things for sure, like West Coast style IPAs. I'm originally from San Diego, California, so I brewed out there for quite a while. So we have quite a big portfolio on I'd say like the hoppier end of beers, like pale ales, IPAs. Definitely on the nice bitter end of them too. And then German wheat beers. We've done well in the past with our German wheat beers, our Weizenbock. We brew like rice lager, blonde ales. We have a whole plethora of beers. We have new ones coming out, at least a couple new ones a month. I'd say 1 or 2 new beers a month. Kettle sours,
malt liquor.
Yeah, we got a malt liquor coming out. We've been doing malt liquor for a few years. When I have the time for that, I like to do those too. Malt liquors, German pills, Mexican lagers. But yeah, they're a big fan of malt liquor out here. Craft malt liquor though.
Yeah. It's funny. I've seen those here and there. Why is it something that hasn't caught on more? Do you think? Do you think that could be a style that I don't think a lot of breweries have thought about, but it is a beer that I think a lot of people, it brings in a different crowd, or it can add on to your clientele for sure. Is that what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it really. Maybe I know people dig it when it comes out for sure. It doesn't last long. I don't know how many people it attracts from around the Houston area for like, oh, malt liquor's coming out.
It does sit in the tank forever.
Yeah, it takes. I traditionally lager it. The Germans would be very proud of me for turning around a a beer of that caliber in such a long period of time. But we clean it up very well. It's a craft malt liquor, man. I'm no joke. It's like Old English, with with your pinky up. You want to drink it in a champagne glass.
So you can OE 1600 instead.
It's a old Katy 800 because we're in Old Katy, Texas.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a good crowd. It's a fun crowd, and I think it's more so a thing like that brewers like to do because there's the malt liquor scene out there in this store is not really what I want to drink now, but to have a fun one brewed with 6-row Pilsner, German lager yeast, nice lagering period. It's a good little malt liquor.
It's delicious and it's boozy as hell.
Well, let's talk about Perpetual Peace again a little bit. And, why did you guys want to enter it in the World Beer Cup? Have you in the past? Like you said, it kind of changes every year. What do you think made Perpetual Peace a gold medal winning beer this year?
So yeah, we entered into pretty much every competition when we have it. So all the big ones. And yeah, it's been entered in the World Beer Cup before. It's done well. We've never won a big medal like this for it. But I think the reason that it did so well this year is that just the blend of the flavor of the whiskey barrels, the American whiskey barrels, with the wee heavy, it didn't overpower the wee heavy. You could still tell it was a strong Scottish ale, and so the wee heavy was still very much there, and it had a very good balance of some oak flavor to it, a little bit of vanilla, just a good American whiskey balance in there. And I think that's what did it this year. Just everything was very balanced about that beer. The barrels we selected to blend for it, and deciding the final product that we were going to go with to put into the bright tank and package it. That's a process. It takes not only the barrel aging itself, but the process of doing all the tests on the beer and then evaluating the all of the beers to decide what you're going to blend. It's a whole effort between the team. And yeah, I think this year's blend was just and there was something about it that the judges out there really liked. And so yeah, there was no really just we do what we do every year, just in different barrels, and this year just it did really well, and we're stoked. We're really happy about it, and we're proud to serve it to the community, and to win a World Beer Cup was just it was that I don't even know if I have words that can explain it. They wouldn't get bleeped out.
Yeah. Well, we were in, where was it this year? Vegas. Oh yeah. And when we won, Traylor, it was F-Bomb Palooza.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
That's got to be you had entered it before, you hadn't really done much with it, and then all of a sudden your name's showing up on the screen. I mean, that had to have been an emotional. Yeah. Were you all waiting, edge of your seat type of stuff, or kind of sitting there seeing, and all of a sudden your name's being called?
Yeah, no, I actually told our my brewer Matt, who was there with us. We were sitting there and the category popped up, and I was like, man, honestly, this is probably the category that I might be least encouraged on, because it's just such a crapshoot of a category, barrel aged strong ale. There's so many different strong ales that go into barrels, so many different barrels, so many great brewers out there that are barrel aging beers. So I knew it was a great beer, but out of the beers we entered, I don't want to say I was the least confident about it. I just knew that category is it's such a crapshoot, man. So I wasn't edging my seat, we're gonna get one. I was more just sitting there man, this category, it's all over the place, and and so yeah, when they call her name and it was gold, I like, yeah, it was exciting, man. Like, I mean, but it felt the same as when we won a couple years ago, and when we got our first one. Just when you win a World Beer Cup, it's for a brewer and the team. It's like it's what I've strived to do my whole life. It's what when I started home brewing a really long time ago, a World Beer Cup was like in my eyes one day. I'm like, I want to brew one day professionally, and I want to win a World Beer Cup. That's my goal in life. So, yeah, it's always fun. But yeah, just in that one, we weren't on the edge of our seats. I think we were just kind of sitting there like, you never know. We don't go in expecting to win. We're not like cocky about it. We're not arrogant. We just try to brew the best beer we can make. And we hope that other people acknowledge that and they enjoy it. And to have judges and judge beer for such a long period of time over those weeks they judge World Beer Cup, and for it to make it through each round and be acknowledged as the best this year in that category, it's an honor for sure. So, and I hope to do it again in years to come.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It's always quite an honor, and it's great to be able to talk to people about that. When it comes to entering, though, what are I mean, obviously with a barrel aged beer, it's a little easy because like you have what you have. But when it comes to and maybe entering other beers, there's timelines. You have to get it there at a certain time. Do you guys brew for competition, or is it okay? This is coming up, and we'll package these. I know every single time or every single contest or something has different little requirements. How many cans or crowlers or and unmarked labels, all that kind of stuff. What are some of the how do you guys prepare and plan? Like you have a calendar, like, hey, we have to be ready for this stuff for this. How do you get that all put together?
Oh yeah, so I have like all the deadlines I know in advance, like for the competitions, what competitions we're entering. I know when I need to have the beers there, and I'm registering these beers like months in advance to go into these competitions. So like I'm juggling a production brew schedule of like beers that we have to meet, like our core beers and our seasonals that I can't bypass because we have a calendar, a brew calendar. So yeah, I have to juggle that, and I have a couple of smaller like 15 barrel tanks, luckily, that are like those are my mess around tanks and competition tanks. So yeah, like I plan it out, and like obviously like beers like IPAs, I'm like having them come out like the week that it's due, which is a risk, but I do it anyway. Sometimes it's come to like backfire on us where things go down and like we missed a beer entry on that one, but it's the price you pay for trying to get the freshest beer to the competition, and I'm willing to take the risks. So yeah, we're brewing beer all the way to like the deadline of like when those beers are due, and then overnighting them to the competition. So yeah, we're very much brewing beers for the competition. Unfortunately, we can't brew every single beer in a small batch for the competition. So like for other beers, like Perpetual Peace, that was a large scale beer for the market. Some of the other beers we brew are like core beers that we enter into there because we already had them in the tank, and they're coming out fresh like the week before or something. So we're not like small batching our like Hefeweizen, things like that, that'll go like normal. But yeah, we do for the most part for like IPAs and some other beers too. So we're brewing small batch for competition. So we try to as much as possible. And yeah, it's definitely planned out well in advance to come out by the deadlines and ship them off. So
sure. And yeah. How with packaging is it? Do you some of these you have to be anonymous, right? Or can you send in a can of the beer that you guys pull off the line and enter that, and then like what is it depend on the contest?
Yeah, so they're all blind tastings. Like there's stewards pouring the beers for the judges, so the judges never get to see the can. Gotcha. But yeah, we're taking cans off the line. And then there's like labels for the competition that you print out and attach to the can, and then you ship them off with like your competition labels that are just wrapped over like our beer labels. I'm not doing anything special, we run a really good canning line and we keep it tight. So I'm I'll definitely be over there pulling during the point of the run that I want to pull off for the competition. I'll go over there and pull them off the run. I'm not just taking a case from like the back of the brewery, or like the to-go cooler. Like I'm specifically like hitting during this part of the run that I want the beers, and taking them to the back, and we label them up and ship them off.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand about that maybe don't enter contests because they like, it seems like it can be a timing thing. It can be a thing. So that it is something that you kind of have to think about. I mean, I know for me, like when I was as a home brewer, I don't enter as many contests anymore, but there's many times like our club be like, hey, we're going to have a contest on European lagers. Well, I'm like, well, I don't have a lager ready yet, anything like that. So it is cool that you guys, have the forward thought process of looking for those things. And, but Tom, I'm just assuming you'd probably want to talk more about the Platinum Crushie that you guys got, the Craft Beer Marketing Award for Coolest Taproom and Beer Garden. Congratulations on that, first and foremost. It's not, I don't think, on the prestigious level of World Beer Cup yet, but I think it is an important aspect that they have made these awards in the last few years, giving recognition to breweries in different aspects outside of just this is the best beer. You're finding, it's cool to go through that list and see all the different things that you can get recognized for. Just kind of, speak on that aspect and just being able to win something on this type of level.
The Craft Beer Marketing Awards are great. There's a lot of competitions for the liquid. I mean, we are in the craft beer industry, and it's definitely beer first. But there are also all these other elements to craft beer that we all know, like the tap room, like a label, like merchandise, like POS, like this. I mean, this is a very marketing-focused industry. Like, it's one of the most creative industries I think you'll find on planet Earth. And so it's nice to finally have something that kind of recognizes that. And it's, you see these breweries like Boulevard and Other Half and Lupulin, these great big creative powerhouses that are all in this competition. So it's nice to be able to put our stuff against them. And even when you don't win, you get to see other people's work, because you can't always taste other people's beer, but to be able to have a place where you can see all their, like, oh, that's a great label. Wow, that's a great sales sheet. Wow, they really attacked this in an interesting way. Like I wish the BA would kind of do something like this, because this is like, in terms of sales reps and designers and people that run tap rooms, there's a lot there. But no, it's nice to have the Crushies. It's nice. It's the only award competition kind of doing it at the moment. So
right.
I love it.
We'll talk, what you guys won for Platinum Crushie was Coolest Taproom Beer Garden. I'm just reading off what the entry said. 100-year-old historic rice silo district, indoor and outdoor taproom and beer garden. Tell us just a little bit about the background of your building, the tap room, the beer garden, and how you thought it was cool even before you entered this contest, and now others are agreeing with you.
So just as like Traylor was mentioning, we're an open air facility. We're between these two. The brew house is actually right under one historic rice silo, and then there's a large yard. And on the yard we have there's another rice silo at the other end, but like we have a playground out here. We have a live stage. I mean, the whole thing has been like very Frankenstein retrofitted, but there's nothing quite like it. We're along a rail line, so every once in a while we'll get that train like coming through and stuff like that. But when we took over No Label, so No Label was a 14-year-old brewery, and I started working here about 9 years ago. 7 years ago, I became an investor. And about 5 years ago, I became an owner. Shortly right before Traylor came on. And one of my friends was out there, and at the time, the brewery only had one sign that said No Label Brewing Company. And my friend was like, saying, how do you take the picture that says that you're at the brewery? And I was just like, oh, yeah, that's a good. So now if you come out to No Label, we have these historic rice silos that are barely, there's nothing like them. But there's all these points of interest that are throughout the brewery, whether it be a large merch space or a huge award wall that we've kind of built over the last few years, or there's a press wall, or there's a memorial wall, or there's the entire rail line is there's banners that are just all our beer labels that it's like like 30 labels out there, or there's murals on the ground. Wherever you go around No Label, you know exactly where you are. You are at a brewery, and it's constantly reflecting beer art back at you. So I mean, whenever I go to a tap room, I'm super fanboy. You walk into a tap room space and you're just like, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Like, oh man. And so this tap room kind of reflects that. I mean, it's kind of like it's like a monument to beer and beer art. That's kind of the way. And we're constantly trying to improve the space. We got a lot of it, so we're always trying to put more beer and beer art out there in the world. Like he makes it, and we just kind of essentially amplify it, put it in a good package, and put it out. The long pitch in terms of when we applied for the taproom award, and then when we got it, it was pretty amazing because we don't have AC, and we're not there's all these other breweries that are huge Death Stars. If they have lots of money, they could have these 3-story facilities with balconies and private spaces and all this. We're not like that, but we are incredibly unique. We aren't just a warehouse. We're between these silos. We're on the tracks. There's only one No Label as far as so far.
Very neat. Well, what made you? First off, what made you want to enter? You kind of, it is a unique type of space. And what are the entry requirements? How do you guys show how cool this place is?
Well, the reason why we went and enter because awards they definitely let people know that your shit is good, and we definitely have the award gambling gene. We're entering beer competitions all the time, and since there's only one craft beer marketing award route, we do that once a year. But the tap room, a label's nice to win for a label or win for an event, but to win for a tap room that's the thing that's going to bring people to the brewery. That's if you think about a tap room being the point of tourism, the competition that says you have one of the best tap rooms on the planet, that's probably the one to go after. And really, we all love this place, so we believe it, but will the industry also go that route? So the Crushies, they have 800 industry judges, and then the application process is you have to drop a 240-word essay, and then you have to throw in a bunch of images, and they have to throw in a video, and then it's really at this point who's going to make the best sell. We entered it last year, and we didn't place at all. And the people that won was there was a brewery that was in a resort in Mexico that had a lazy river. And I'm like, I'm not going to win against that. There's amazing breweries out there that are, the facilities are just incredible. So then it was just kind of all right, how do we pitch this correctly? How do we so, a lot of it's in the application on just conveying your love for a space and what exactly this thing has that makes it so magical. Because a lot of people will talk about how No Label is a great vibe and why is it a great vibe, and really kind of analyzing what we've done here in the past few years. And then to get a platinum for it was pretty, because there's only one stop above that. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then of course all the press recognition that comes with it. This space, everyone that is a part of this brewery that's contributed to making the space look like the way it is, that's just a fact. And it took 14 years to get here, and it's still getting better all the goddamn time. So it's I don't know. It's the Crushie I wanted the most. So I'm glad the brewery got it.
How many different things did you guys enter? Do you remember?
So we entered 10 this year. We won 6. Last year we also entered 10, but last year we won 10. and we won a lot of globals. We have this award wall that's just filled with. So back in 2021, Traylor, and I, we entered the first competitions. We entered Crushies and we entered the U.S. Open, and we brought back the first medals that we won a bronze U.S. Open for El Carlito or Weizenbach, and then we won 2 Crushies for stuff we did during the pandemic, and that was the first 3 awards the brewery had ever received. And then you cut to 4 years later, and we've got 2 World Beer Cups, and there's probably 45 other awards on that wall. I mean, it's pretty amazing how in a short time we've come so far. But every competition, you always reset back to zero because anything can happen. It's I don't know. It's amazing. It's fun. It's dangerous. It costs a lot of money.
And that's it was something I was going to bring up, because there is a cost involved with a lot of these things. I know right before we started recording, the U.S. Open Beer Championships were just announced on July 9th. And I was like, I'm curious about it. So I looked at the registration requirements, and, there's a cost involved with this. You have to have, like you said, the thought process of this is going to cost money to do. But at the same time, there is at least some sort of return on investment, that you probably have to quantify it. Maybe it's not going to we're going to make all our money back doing this. No, but it is a way of advertising yourself.
When we won the World Beer Cup for Perpetual Peace, there was definitely people that wanted to drink a barrel-aged beer in late May and June. That doesn't normally happen. But yeah, it costs for sure. But luckily, I'm always we don't need to win them all. We just need to win one, and then it kind of makes the gamble worth it. And the U.S. Open one this year, we were able to bring home a medal. So it was I don't know. So far it's been paying off. Every once in a while,
you don't win them all.
You can't win them all.
But I think we've won enough to to justify to keep entering.
Yeah, and we definitely we brew for competition. Traylor's brewing for GABF right now. And it takes a toll. Definitely we have a great GM here, and he's always looking ahead. Especially we're in the middle of summer. We just survived a hurricane. There might be more coming at us, and if we're going through a hurricane, that means no one's going to the tap room, really. So there's a price, but bringing home those medals feels really good.
I've been checking out your social media posts, and it just seems like you guys definitely have a fun vibe going on there. And does that come from you, Tom? Does it come from people giving you ideas? How do you guys presented yourself? And it seems
both.
Like it's
both. I spend a lot of time drinking at this tap room too. So but I don't know. We're just I'm always we're the losers. That's how I go into every competition. It's yeah, but you guys win. It's we've lost more than we've won, but type of thing. But I don't know. The brewery life is always something that's going to get. Whenever we're having too good of a time, it's the brew house is about to break down. So there's always a part missing or something's delayed. Nothing ever really runs on time. There's always some sort of problem somewhere, but once you get used to that, I don't know. Yeah, you just kind of that's the vibe. You got to roll with it.
Well, keep up that good vibe. I appreciate you guys.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Don't forget, you can always check on brewermag.com. You can also see us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify. And don't forget daily updates on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I'm Executive Editor Jon Sicotte for brewermagazine.com.